All right. Now, I need to get caught up. I need to get caught up on this WMMA stuff. Okay? And I want to give a shout out to Yeon Kim for giving me the motivation to talk about WMMA. Yeon Kim should be re-signed with the UFC for the Instagram posts that she made. I think she made them today. And I want to deal with them on this video. Now let me see. I've misplaced. Oh, here it is right here. I misplaced the doggone profile. Yeon Kim took to Instagram, and she may have taken to Twitter too. I haven't checked Twitter. But she took to Instagram to cuss out Mandy Bohm. And it was classic. My only complaint is, why didn't she talk like this when she was with the UFC? That's exactly what the UFC needs. Let me be specific. That is what the women in the UFC need to do. There's not enough smack talk. There's not enough promotion. And the thing is, you're paid. This is what you're paid for. So why not have fun with it? This is what I don't understand about these fighters. Why they're not having a field day over the fact that they beat up people for a living. You fight for a living. You know how privileged you are to do that for a living? That's why I say I feel like a lot of these fighters, they take their profession for granted. They should do what Yeon Kim did. Now, Yeon Kim made 2 posts. This was the first one, where she shared some photos from her fight against Mandy Bohm. Right? One photo was of her punching Mandy Bohm. The other one was of Mandy, what Champ Yeon describes as quitting. She was saying, oh, you're just a quitter and you were acting. So she just shared the photos and put #quitter. And Mandy Bohm came into her comment section. Now, this is what the women, this should be happening all the time, man. These girls and the guys. A lot of these guys are lame too. I just don't get it. And I think these dudes, they were never ever natural fighters. Because people who are natural fighters, man, they tend to have a good mouthpiece on them. But these fighters, they don't, well, let me not say, there's a lot of really, really tough guys who don't do a bunch of talking, but I don't know, there's not enough of them. That's what I'm trying to say. There's not enough fighters. I would have expected there to be more. And it's so bad now, as soon as somebody comes through that can talk a little bit of trash, they blow up. But anyway, Mandy Bohm responded. Okay? Yeon Kim wrote #quitter. Mandy Bohm wrote #learn the rules. Let me make sure we're all looking at the same screen here. Because I got some funny style platform or app. This app is not working right. Let me see here. Okay, now we all should be looking at the, wait a minute, whoa. Yeah, we should be looking at an Instagram profile. Okay, Instagram profile. As a matter of fact, okay, here, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Because I'm not even showing y'all the thing here. Okay, here we go. #quitter. And she shared this photo, and she shared this photo. Mandy Bohm respond, learn the rules. And Yeon Kim responded, she wrote Oscar. This is fun already. This is fun. What is wrong with these women, man? Y'all need to be picking fights like this more often. You know how fun this is? And y'all the only women who are actually fighting, who gonna fight in the cage, who will actually fight it out. So you can have fun talking all this smack, man. I don't get it. I'd be having the time of my life if I was a fighter. But anyway, Mandy responded to somebody. Somebody made some kind of comment. What'd they say here? Said, enjoy your miserable life. Sent that message to Mandy Bohm. Mandy Bohm said, I do. And Mandy Bohm's still with the UFC, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think she's still in the UFC. But anyway, Mandy left another comment. Said, control your emotions. Oh, boy. This is good stuff. This is good stuff, man. So Mandy Bohm is having fun with this, too. And I guarantee you, Mandy Bohm think this is fun, too. I don't get it. Girls, stop being so boring. Ladies, you got to spice things. Don't be so boring. You're not just an entertainer inside the cage. You may as well entertain outside the cage, and you don't have to be funny. Just go pick a fight and do it in public. Now, here's the second post. In the first one, she just wrote quitter. Look how long the second one is. Oh, she went off. Yeon Kim spazzed out. Spazzed out. Say, you're a quitter, you're an actor, blah, blah, blah. Say, every punch I landed in your face, you crumbled and panicked. I saw this in you, you disgraceful bitch. Listen. Yeah, PG-13. Just fair warning, there's some profanity in this video because Yeon Kim is using profanity. She is going all in. It's something you know yourself. You crumbled with every punch I landed on your face, you disgraceful bitch. She said, I'd rather die in the octagon than to quit like you and forever be remembered as a quitter. She said, forget about what others think. You know it to yourself. You quit that night. That knee barely touched you. Listen to Yeon Kim. Why don't more girls talk like this? And you can tell Yeon Kim was sort of holding this in for a while and then just let it all out. Ladies, stop holding it in. You're fighters. You're supposed to just say what you got that freedom to say what you want. A lot of people don't have that freedom. Man, she said, you quit that night. That knee barely touched you. She said, it glazed off your shoulder, but you knew you had to make an act to contest for a win. So you came into the fight thinking you could out-grapple me all 3 rounds, but when you found out that you couldn't, you panicked and looked for a way out. This is Yeon Kim talking, not me. She said after losing all 3 rounds, you took your shot and went running for an act, hoping and praying you get that win, you pathetic bitch. That's the best term to call you, a little bitch. You put not only your team in shame, but your entire nation of Germany. Your country does not need bitches like you. Say this to my face when we meet again. I guarantee you, I will drill a hole in your face. End quote. Yeon Kim is spazzing out. This is top level entertainment right here. Ladies, why is there not more girls going at each other like this? And like I said, you don't have to sit back and wait for anybody. Just go pick a fight. That's the fun thing about being a fighter. You can just look at somebody in your division and say, you know what? I don't like the way this bitch looks. I don't like her walk. She walks funny. And send her a message publicly. Like, hey, bitch, you look funny. You walk funny, and I want to beat you up for it. Let's fight in November. It's that easy. And that will be funny. People will lose their whole mind with talk like that because it's talk between two real fighters. Fighters who are going to fight it out. You got to understand, that is a huge part of the fight. Growing up in my childhood, as I was growing up, I used to get in a lot of fights. But it wasn't my choice. I wasn't going around bullying people. There was just a lot of fights in the schools that I went to. There was a lot of fights, man. And whenever there was a fight and I didn't see it, I would ask people what happened. And I would always want to know what led up to the fight. That is a huge part of the entertainment. And these fighters, they have the luxury of being able to be just have as much fun as you want. Say, Joanna, you know what? Your nose is a little too pointy. Your lips look funny when you smile. I don't like your attitude. I don't like chicks who have dogs. Just make up a reason to pick a fight with somebody. What is going on with these ladies? Why so boring, ladies? Ladies, why so boring? This is a lot of, listen, I'm telling y'all something a lot of guys talk about behind closed doors. A lot of guys, when they want to laugh, they don't go around their lady. They're out with the guys. It's like, there's a different type of humor there with the guys. But man, you have nothing to lose and you have everything to gain. That's the thing. As fighters, that's the thing. Everybody else has something to lose. I can't just go pick a fight with a coworker on Facebook in front of management, in front of all my other workers. People in their regular everyday life, they can't just pick fights with. They can't just tell people how they truly feel about them, even though we want to. Trust me, there are some people at my job I would love to tell them exactly what I think about them. But if I was a fighter and they were a fighter as well, I would be breaking my neck to tell them what I think about them. And then challenge them to a fight afterwards. So hats off to Yeon Kim. She may not currently be a UFC fighter, but she just now substantiated her UFC caliber credentials. Because, that post that she made, that was for grown folks. Yeon Kim's not playing games out here. And the sad thing is, she would have been much more valuable in the eyes of the UFC had she been talking like that while she was with the UFC. They would have been salivating over Yeon Kim talking like that. Some of you who follow boxing, you remember Ricardo Mayorga. Ricardo Mayorga, he was a boxer. He could not speak a lick of English at all. At all. But he was insanely popular with boxing fans because of his trash talk. Now, his translators would have to translate the trash talk, but it did not matter Because just think, it would have been more incredible if we heard it straight from Ricardo Mayorga's mouth. But hearing the trash talk, hearing what he had to say, even through the translator, really hyped up his fights. The dude was like an alien. Like, personality-wise, he was like from outer space. He was real savage and rude, just a disgusting person. Wild, real impulsive. He like behaved like a dog. Real uncontrolled. But it was the things that he used to say that excited people. And it's not a thing where we just get excited hearing people insult each other. No, that's not it. These fighters are going to fight at the end of the day. And if y'all start jawing at each other, we as fans, we're going to understand that behind closed doors, you probably have no problem with each other at all. You probably could be even friends behind closed doors. And listen, if I was a fighter, I would talk all kinds of smack to the dudes in my division. And I bet you anything, they would be able to sense that I'm just really having fun, that I'm talking smack for real, and I'm challenging them to fight for real. But I'm doing it because it's fun. It's fun, ladies. Go ahead and have fun. And I'm telling you this, I really want the female fighters to be on this page. I don't want them to fall victim to depression. Fighting is extremely emotional. And especially with UFC fighters, they are on national television, their face splattered all across for everybody to see. When they lose a fight, the cameraman is all up in their face, their reactions to their loss, all on camera, just like their reactions to their victories is all on camera. And when some girls experience losses, they can fall into depression. Now, there's a problem with that. As a paying customer, I have a problem with that. Because if you're depressed, trust me, you're going to deteriorate. It's going to eat you alive. And it's real easy to fall into depression as a fighter, especially when you've experienced some losses. But here's the thing. Life is short. In a couple decades, y'all gonna look back at this part of your life and laugh, smile, like, what in the world was I thinking? I was really a lunatic. And you know what you're probably gonna say? I should have had more fun. Because your whole recollection of your career essentially is going to be how much fun you had, how great of a time it was. It's a fun life. You create history. So if I think, me personally, because this is how I would approach it, if you just have fun with it and view it as a time to have a good time, you'll perform better. And your longevity may increase. But most definitely, you'll perform at your best. A lot of these fighters, when they just all of a sudden put on a stinking performance, a lot of times I believe it's because of depression. Sometimes you can tell that their head is not quite in the fight. Right? And there's no reason for that. Y'all live a privileged lifestyle, man. You don't have to clock in nowhere. Yeah, you clock into the gym to work out, which is more fun. The gym ain't nothing but fun, man. Once your body gets adapted to being active, the gym ain't nothing but fun. It's a good time. You want to be there 2-3 hours. And then what do? You'll have a fight for 15 minutes, for a half hour, and cash a huge check. Okay? These fighters in the top 5 cash 6-figure checks in one night. You cash big checks like that, You on the highest platform, you may as well have fun, man. I don't want to see no more crying and no more depression and no more half-hearted performances. These stinking performances, they shouldn't happen. Ladies, y'all, for the most part, y'all really don't have that much power anyway. Your opponent's not going to knock you out. Go after her. That's it. No, I'm not about to tell you to throw a right hand or a jab. Go after your opponent. Get her. Punish her. I think the skills are there. I just think there needs to be more effort. Now, I have a lot of different emotions about this fight between Manon Fiore and Rose Namajunas, because I badly want to see it, but I have a strong feeling it's not going to happen. Rose is going to pull out. Rose is going to pull out, and Manon is going to have to fight somebody else. But the thing is, what is Rose doing? Like, what is her plan? Does she really think she can hang at 125? I think she's very close to retirement. You know, she is doing very unorthodox things. And just abruptly, she'll just come out and say, "Oh, I want to be a farmer. I don't want to be a fighter. I want to grow mushrooms." She'll just out of nowhere, "I don't want to fight in the MMA no more. I just want to do submission underground. Oh, I need a year off. Oh, I lost. I need a year off." What if Rose goes in here and gets sparked? Like badly beaten? Do you see her continuing to fight? Do you think she would keep fight? I don't think so. If she goes in here and gets badly whooped, or even if she just loses, it doesn't even have to be a bad beating. I have a hard time seeing her staying at 125. I have a hard time seeing her fight at all. You know, I thought it was just me for a while, but it's this energy from Rose that a lot of people get, that she's unsure and that she really doesn't want to be a fighter. And I think that's part of the reason why she's fighting at 125. I don't think she's bigger. You know, she just don't want to lose that weight. She just don't want to lose that weight. Now, look, maybe it'll help her. We all know Manon is huge for flyweight. And there's a good chance she cuts a lot of weight. And she might cut just enough weight to make her manageable for Rose, who's not cutting weight. I would imagine Rose is not going to cut no weight at all. So it's an interesting fight. And I be honest, it's more interesting than, well, I can't say that. I was about to say it's more interesting than Manon against Blanchfield, but I'm not going to say that. But will Rose fight? Will she throw a punch? The uncertainty that comes with Rose makes you not that excited. Not that excited to see her. I'm telling you, if she has one more bad fight where people scratching their head and shaking their head, especially if it's the immediate subsequent fight after that Carla fight, because this fight is really for her to rebound. More than anything, that's what this is about. They gave Rose really a pure striker. Yes, Manon does her thing on the ground, but Manon prefers to strike for the most part. You know, and Rose's ability to get back to her feet is not bad. It's not bad. I'm sure the matchmakers expect a striking contest. And that's what Rose wants. Rose don't want a wrestler. I think much of this has to do with the fact that Rose had the worst fight ever, and it was against a pure wrestler. So they're like, oh, snap, let's give her a pure striker. Now, I don't know who's more technical. I can't say Rose is more technical. What does Rose do that Manon doesn't? Use a jab. They both use jabs. They both got a power hand. I mean, Manon has more of a varied offense. She got way more variety of kicks than Rose. Rose don't be throwing those kicks like that to her opponent's legs and body like that. Manon always got her feet on you. Her feet are always on you. Midsection, thigh, calf, midsection. Always eating away at you. You know, and what's Rose going to do if Manon is kicking her like that? Rose going to try to take Manon down? So if Rose starts losing the striking, it's a good chance she'll just get pounded out. You know? But listen, man, Manon is there to be hit. She's there to be hit, and Rose can hit her. If there's anybody can hit her, Rose can find her face. And I don't care what nobody say, even at 125, Rose got good power early in fights. Even with her fists, early in fights, I think she can hurt you. And Manon can be hit early in fights. We'll see what'll happen there. Another thing I wanted to point out with Valentina Shevchenko. There's a good chance, I think, that she wins the fight. But even if she wins, she might still lose. It's a big reason why I'm taking Grasso. Even if Valentina wins, she might still lose. They might still give the fight to Alexa Grasso. I talked about that. There's a much higher chance of that happening now than there was when Shevchenko was the champion. Okay? I think that's relevant. That's very relevant. But on top of that is how challenged Shevchenko looked throughout the fight, even though Grasso wasn't doing all that much. Neither one of them was doing that much. Their volume was not through the roof like that. But Shevchenko looked uncomfortable, and it was for a prolonged period of time, which is something I've never really seen before. Like, not for a prolonged period of time. And in that fight, it was like minute after minute, Valentina seemed like she didn't have a real plan on what she wanted to do. She didn't seem like she was setting nothing up. It just seemed like she was reacting to what Grasso do, you know, jab, interception, counter. She did not seem like she was trying to punish Grasso. I thought she fought Chukagian, Andrade. She's fighting those girls like she wanted to stop them. She had a plan. She was on a mission in those, look at how Valentina looked against her previous opponents. Look at how she looked against Jessica I. There was no waiting to counter with a jab. She came straight out, stabbing her in the stomach with kicks. Just slamming her shin in Jessica. And she was a lead striker. Understand, these were lead strikes. It's very rare Shevchenko just come out and start teeing off on you. She came out and started teeing off on Jessica I with huge power shots. Look at the confidence she showed against her other opponents. I didn't really see that against Grasso. I got like flashes of it in the first round. Shevchenko had a moment in the first round where she threw a spinning back fist and then threw a body kick. I thought to myself, like, yeah, that's it. You mix it up. That's the key. To fighting Alexa Grasso, that's the key. There was some debate about how effective Muay Thai would be against boxing. I think it's extremely effective. One man's opinion. Because it includes more kicks. And a lot of times, those kicks gives boxers a lot of problems. So against Jessica I a boxer, she came out slamming kicks in her midsection. I expected her to do that against Alexa Grasso and didn't see it. Valentina was up in there primarily boxing Grasso. I'm telling y'all, I can't prove it now. That's why I need to do more fights live. That way I could, when I saw that for the first time, I shook my head. And I'm telling y'all, before that fight, I predicted it. I knew I was going to do this. I removed all my content. But I predicted it. Before that fight, I said, Valentina is going to box Grasso. Some of y'all might remember I said that. I said she's going to box her. She's going to try to prove that she got better boxing. Watch Valentina go out there and have a boxing match with Alexa Grasso. And that's exactly what she started doing. I shook my head. I'm like, oh boy. Just give your advantages away and become just as one-dimensional as your opponent. I don't see how that's a smart thing to do. Why not dump your variety on that one-dimensional fighter? How does it help you to become one-dimensional like they are? Like that was crazy to me. And that's not the first time I've seen that. I think Valentina has even said that she intentionally does that. Try to mirror her opponents, man. I think Wei Li does that or was said to have done that as well. That's a bad idea, man. No. When you run across a one-dimensional fighter, yeah, you lick your chops because you're not going to be one-dimensional. That's the last thing you do. The last thing you do is limit yourself when you fight a limited fighter. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things about MMA that's really primitive. I know a lot of you might think that sounds arrogant, like that's an arrogant thing to say. But the people in MMA, these are just regular people. They're no different from the people you work with every day. And I know how, even after you've established a system, how lazy it can get, how ineffective it can be. Even if the system has been in place for years, it still don't function properly. Some of you might know at your job where certain things just don't never work right. Certain departments never work right. But how long has your job been there? There are certain things about MMA, WMMA, that's very, very primitive, and they can learn a lot from the basics. Too many girls lack fundamentals. Now keep your hands up. Keep your hands up by your chin. Turn your shots over. Put some real power in those shots. Do a whole lot of push-ups. And work your arms and stuff like that. And good luck. I want to see an increase in aggression. An increase in aggression in the next card. Now, the next card is this weekend. If I'm not mistaken, there is a fight card every weekend for a while, if I'm not mistaken. Next up to bat, Volkanovski, Rodriguez. Then Bohm, Bueno Silva, Aspinall, Tybura. Now, this is a dangerous fight for Volkanovski. But I'm going to take Volkanovski over Yair Rodriguez. But Volkanovski is another little boxer. He got that boxing style going on. And he's going up against a fighter who mix in a lot of kicks. Could you imagine Yair Rodriguez strictly boxing against Volkanovski? How big of a disadvantage he'd be? No, man, you can't do that. Now, who's on this card? Oh, Yasmin. I'm very, very thankful for Yasmin in the game. You know she's going to bring some heat, and she's going to save the reputation of my platform. Thank you very much, Yasmin. I'm going to thank her before the fight. Don't let me down. And, okay, that's this weekend. Next weekend, Bohm Silva. Just please, I don't care. Well, I do care who wins. I want Silva to win. And I just don't want it to be a boring, stinking match. This is a main event. It's a main event. Effort is all it takes. Effort is all it takes. You don't have to have power. You don't have to look pretty. I'm telling you, the guys, we don't care about that. Especially main event. They're nice and drunk. We don't care about you turning shots over. Just effort. You know, a lot of these guys, they're drunk. And they're probably too drunk to even decipher whether or not you're using proper form. But the last thing to go is their sense of effort. They can still see whether or not you putting forth, and really, sometimes your lack of effort might be magnified if they got a little liquor in them. You might look to be moving slower than you actually are. So the objective is have fun, maximum effort. Fun, maximum effort. And talk some trash. That's why I like Chelsea Chandler. You know, she'll talk a little smack. She'll tell these girls what she think about them. And that's what she should do. I'm telling you, man, if I was a fighter, I'd treat everybody like an enemy. I would not be one of those fighters out here making friends with people in my division. No. Are you crazy? No. Let me see. What division would I be in? If I was an MMA fighter, MMA is extremely dangerous. I'd have to fight at 155. Yeah, I'd have to fight at 150, and that's yeah 155. Yeah, I'm not fighting at no 170. But to make 155, I'd have to cut some water. Not much. I'd have to cut a little bit. But yeah, I'd be a lightweight. That is so weird that I'd have to go to 155 because I'm 6'1". I'm close to 6'2", and I got like a 79-inch reach. I got huge, very long arms, but I can get really low in weight, which is why I wouldn't be an MMA fighter. If I would get into combat sports, it would be boxing. Well, them MMA fighters, they go through too much. The injuries is crazy, out of this world. But yeah, if I were in that division, man, yeah, I'd have fun. Dan Hooker, Faziev, Lord. You know what's so sad is that a fighter can not even have made their UFC debut. If they can talk a good, good trash, I won't say a lot, but good trash, they might have a good chance at a title shot after one fight. If they're good enough, if they go viral enough, they come in, win their debut, real big, win their debut. That's how crazy it is. But it's even worse for the women. Ronda Rousey was a megastar primarily because of her attitude. Well, I can't say that. That was a big part of it. She was finishing girls in the first round and all that kind of stuff too, but her attitude is a huge reason for her. At least that's what I believe. In combat sports, it'll take you far. That's all I'm saying. That is all for this live stream. I will see you on the next.